We're starting off high.
We can get a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot. Ah!
You had accountability. Now, what I can...
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where, give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a Foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would...
Trust a human to raise back wolves?
Before I would trust a human to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you.
Yo, what up, fools? Welcome to another edition of Do Fools Agree. As always, I'm your host, Michael Reggie, here with my main man, Clifford Jordan Jennings.
That's me.
That is you.
That is me.
And man, it's always something.
Oh, shit.
Nah, it was just the monitor was switched to the wrong one. Shit happens. What's going on, sir? How are you doing
Not
this
much.
week?
I'm all right. How you feeling?
I'm all right. This is the wrap up of the fall season this week.
Oh, shit.
First
so
week.
you didn't have no game or nothing.
Nah,
This is the last.
So first week without, I guess technically the second week without football. So second week without football, kiddo wrapped up his two fall sports. Made it to the championship in both and just couldn't close. And then the remodel finally finished. So, you know, the turning of a page. Shit that I've been trying to get done all fall. Finally wrapping up. So,
Well,
cheers.
cheers to that. Oh, shit. I don't even have a...
Oh, you don't even have one?
What the hell is going on
Who
here?
are you? I don't even know you anymore.
What the hell is going on here, sir?
Now, I will give a shout out to the kiddo. So not in the title game, but the semifinal game. Semifinal game went down to a shootout, and he blocked 3. They made 1 out of 5. So he basically got a stop on 4 out of 5 shots in the shootout. And I'll tell you what, that was my first time as a parent where like all the pressure was on my kid.
Right.
And that was interesting. It was interesting to observe. And he responded well to it. So, you know, more props to him on that.
Yeah, I saw the clips.
Yeah, and so
Congrats to him.
proud of him on that. And then similarly in the football game, he completed a number of nice passes in the 2 games he had last Sunday after winning that semifinal game. So he had 3 games last Sunday, and they won the first one 6-2, and then they got blown out in the title game because they were just outmatched physically.
Mm-hmm.
So, nah, man, like I said, just a good wrap up over the last 7 days of the fall season. So,
That's what's up.
yeah, man. But yeah, outside of that, not much else going on.
Yeah, I ain't been doing much else myself, just working and shit.
Yeah. What'd you end up doing with your 2 days this week? Were you productive or were you slothfully?
Nah, I little bit of both.
All right, that's a good mix then.
Yeah, I remember I said I wanted to finish a couple paintings while I was out.
Yeah.
I didn't finish them, but I'm making
You made progress.
some decent progress in both of them. So
Okay.
I'll take it.
All right.
I'll take it.
I think it's been a while since I've seen any of your artwork. So what are you working on? Or not wanting to share?
I mean, I can grab them.
I mean, go for it.
I'll grab them real quick.
Our friend Cliff the Artiste is going to head off screen real quick and grab some of his most recent artwork. I'm going to put the glasses back on for this. We actually have some Cliff art hanging in the studio. It's the his freehand version of the Do Fools Agree logo that we've got hung up in the studio, but we'll see what Mr. Jennings is bringing back here.
Okay.
What you got here?
So this is the one that I was talking to you about like the one dancing in the storm. This one still is in no way complete, and I've probably been revising it over and over again for the past couple of days here. But I have this so far.
Okay. Very nice.
I'm probably gonna end up painting over this again so I can put it back in with more detail.
Gotcha.
And then I still have to, that's what this black is. I still have to put in the lightning bolts and all that in the background.
That's
and I need to add some more detail to the skirt or whatever that is. But yeah, that one's almost done. I'm almost done with that.
Okay.
And then I got this one that I'm still working on. I still gotta finish the peel and the outline in everywhere, and then touch up a couple spots.
Gotcha.
In the actual painting itself. Highlight the details in the lips and all that, and this one will be damn near good to go.
Good deal, man. Those look awesome.
Well, thank you.
This goes back to I don't have a creative bone in my body, but I do like to surround myself with creatives.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I got a couple I'm trying to do. I just can't. I had the lightning in there before, and something happened. I don't know if something got spilt on it, and I had to like repaint the background. I painted over it.
Gotcha.
And now I just can't seem to get it right like I did the first time. That's why I keep putting that black over it, which is a pain in the ass, because then I got to go back in and put the raindrops back in over it after. Man, it
was a lot.
I'm going to get it, though.
Well, that's cool.
Well, you got any inadvertent thoughts to get us going this week?
I damn sure don't, for real. I had a couple, but they weren't really. I'll say they weren't really appropriate for the time.
Okay.
Just some things I noticed. I'm not gonna say they're not true, but it's not really appropriate given the current
climate.
Right. So I was like, "No, you should probably keep that to yourself for the time being.
Wait until things blow over."
You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that's what I'm gonna do.
Well, speaking of speaking of things
but you
blowing
passed
over,
off some more DNA.
No, but I figured it was time to talk about abortion on this show.
Oh shit! Oh shit! We starting out hot.
You know, you're over here shying away from, controversial topics and inadvertent thoughts. And meanwhile, I want to talk about the two that are on the ballot here in Ohio this year. Number one, issue 1, which would be an amendment to the Ohio State Constitution that basically enshrines the right to an abortion. What are your thoughts, sir? You like how I set you up?
Her body, her choice.
Amen.
That's my thoughts. Her body, her motherfucking choice.
Well, and I mean, I'll take it the step further. Like, even with everything that went down 2 years ago.
What's that?
And COVID and vaccines. Like, if you are okay with the government regulating what you can do with your own body in the case of have a child or not have a child, then guess what? You're okay with them demanding that you get a certain vaccine too. And so that's where, like, somewhere along the line, like, this narrative around abortion was created by conservatives around this was the root of all evil. Meanwhile, since Roe v. Wade, the crime rate has gone down precipitously ever since.
Not precipitously.
So that is a situation where, yes, you're not having as many births into poverty and into bad situations, which then yields, you know, you can call them degenerate youth, you can call them whatever you want, which yields crime.
I call them survivors.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, these are the same people that, you know, don't believe the government should be mandating vaccines or anything like that either. Like, so you got to choose there, bruh. You can't have it both ways. So
listen, the way shit's going, somebody gonna pull me out of my house one day.
Right.
I'm gonna be like so-and-so, God rest her soul. I can't remember the young lady's name, but the one they tried to say was crazy. And the police killed her at her home, and she barricaded the door with her couch and had a shootout with the police for like a half an hour before they got her. Listen, sometimes motherfuckers overstep their bounds. It ain't no choice but for you to fight back.
Right.
Whether that be a solo war on your own property or a war on all fronts in, you know, the country going at it. But the way it's going, I'm telling you right now, but if somebody come to the door with a needle in their hand, they ain't gonna make it to the porch.
Right.
I promise you that. They ain't gonna make it to the porch.
I hear you. Well, and I mean,
ain't nobody forcing none of that shit on me.
Amen.
And without connecting dots, I think that has something to do with my mom's situation.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. I'll be respectful on that and not press on that one. But
well, I mean, I don't know. I know we don't have a whole lot of viewers, so it's not really, you know, but I'll just, without saying anything, I'll just say aggressive liver cancer.
Okay.
For somebody who doesn't really drink, doesn't do drugs, doesn't do anything out of the, you know what I'm saying, outside of the ordinary is wild. And it's ironic, the timing of the situation. I'll just say that.
Okay. All right. I think I get what you're insinuating there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the biggest issue on the ballot this year in Ohio is issue 1. And then issue 2, Cliff, I'm sorry, man. This might, if you were ever, and I know you're not big on voting, and I know you don't believe your vote counts, but if you were going to vote, this would be the one to do it in. And it's not a presidential election. Really, there was nothing from a state house, anything on the ballot. It was all like city council bullshit, which, by the way, we don't have enough people who run for city council, and the city council is probably just as corrupt as the state house. However, since for the most part they're at least shadow in my camp, then okay, fine. But the second biggest issue on the ballot this year is recreational marijuana, issue 2.
I mean,
decriminalize, legalize, commercialize, and regulate, I believe is the language in the bill.
And let them niggas out from back in the day.
No doubt.
If that ain't added to the ballot, that'd be the only reason to really get me out there.
Expunge records and clear convictions and get people out. I agree with that. You know what I'm saying?
Kim Kardashian shouldn't have to suck a cock to get somebody out. No, I'm just playing. We started off hot. I ain't cooled down. I apologize.
And I mean,
allegedly.
Here's the thing with like issue 2 in particular. And I've always felt this way. Like, I think marijuana is less dangerous than alcohol. Period. Point blank.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. I definitely agree.
And so, this was all, you know what it is. Here's my philosophy, or here's my theory on it. Way back when the paper mills and the lumber industry was what really fought the hemp industry. And now that everything's digital, they don't hold as much sway as they used to. So fuck it.
I think the elephant in the room is also true. I think you are correct. I think that there was a lot more than just.
Oh yeah, it was
number
more than
one.
Just that.
I would say big pharma.
Right.
They really know the medicinal purposes of marijuana. They know that shit. They studied that shit.
Right.
Way back when they was doing the Pineapple Express jokes about the soldiers smoking in the bunker.
Right.
And everybody wearing oxygen masks around them. They were doing their tests. And they knew that if motherfuckers was just openly smoking weed like that, they wouldn't have to come in for a lot of the bullshit they come in for now, and they ain't gonna make money.
No doubt.
And then everybody else just coattailed the fight. You
Well,
know what? They could start using hemp paper, make hemp paper instead of what we got going on. Let me jump in on that as well.
It's more renewable. It is faster renewable.
But that, like I say all the time, if it sound right, it's not gonna happen.
Right. There's truth to that. And by the way, Ashley chiming in the chat, and she said, as with anything, there are challenges. They should come learn from NYC.
What's that in reference to?
I believe that's into legalized marijuana. So, Ashley, you see the sign-in information there. Go ahead, hop on. Come educate us. We'll see if we can get Ashley to join.
Yeah, I have no idea.
All I know is walking through the streets of NYC with Ash was like every 3 steps. Taking a hit.
I just don't see myself. I don't know. I just don't see myself going out.
You're not gonna go to the corner store and just get a joint? You like knowing where your shit's grown?
I don't listen.
That's the real danger here is we're gonna put the black market out of market.
Somewhat, and then motherfuckers start putting shit in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, the last thing I trust is the government to commercialize the shit.
Well, I don't think it's the government that's commercializing. I'd still think it's private. But to that end and to that point, I think you could say the same thing. You could make that same comment about the tobacco industry.
That's interesting. I'm just saying
it was
read
10 years ago that Marlboro trademarked the term joint for when marijuana was legalized.
I'm just saying I shouldn't have to read the ingredients on
on your reefer.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really.
What are the additives and chemicals that are being added once this is a commercialized product?
I don't really quite honestly give a fuck either way.
Yeah. Well, to the point though, I think decriminalizing it, period, is something that's necessary. And
but I thought they've already done that somewhat, haven't they?
They have because it's medicinally available, but you could still be arrested for having it on you if you don't have a prescription. Or at least still be ticketed for it.
They always ticketed you for it.
Right. So, I don't know. Those are the 2 big ones in Ohio. Outside of that, the Ohio election, like I said, there is a Columbus City Schools levy, which I will always vote for, despite the fact that I think that the Columbus City School Board is probably not doing a great job. And then the public library, which, again, I will always vote for. So, outside of that, it was a bunch of city council stuff, and it's the same people that have, I didn't even see other people on the ballot. There was a different mayoral candidate, which honestly I don't know a ton about, but given our current city council and our current mayor and their relationship with the police, happy to vote against Mayor Ginther. But outside of that, yeah, there wasn't much on there. So get out there, vote, do what you got to do.
Yeah, all
that. Cliff's like, yeah, I'm gonna stay home on Tuesday.
I really just don't give a fuck. They gonna do what they want to do.
There's truth
at
to
the
that.
end of the day. I'm sick of this show. I'm sick of the dog and pony show.
Well, actually, okay, so that's actually something that I will challenge you on a little bit. Issue 1 and Issue 2 were citizen-driven initiatives. So they were things that weren't necessarily put forward by, now I'm sure special interest groups tagged into it, but those were citizen-driven initiatives, not things that came from like big money PACs or other organizations.
So what does that mean exactly?
That means people were out there collecting like signatures and stuff, like regular ass folks were.
But that's not like that gets a boost or anything.
No, it's not like it gets a boost, but I think it does show that, you know, in theory, these things still work. Uh-oh.
In theory, what still works?
Like democracy. Like, it is still a citizen-led government. We just don't have the options unless we're putting forth the options. And honestly, that's the biggest problem in politics right now, is everybody thinks it's corrupt and then nobody else is running. Now, when you start talking about elected positions, yeah, it's challenging because you're going to be fighting big money.
Aren't you either way? Like in any...
I mean, yeah, you're not wrong, but what I'm saying is with these two initiatives in particular, like, these were citizen-driven, which I think is important.
See, to me, that just means that that's more of a reason that I don't see, like, I have less faith in them.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, there she is.
Brooklyn in the house.
You muted. You know you muted.
Good, because I said, hey. I is tired. I is waiting for grocery delivery, and I is having a glass of wine.
There you go. And what better place to enjoy a glass of wine than with two fools from Columbus, Ohio?
You got some poor motherfucker on his bike with 6 bags of groceries about to hike him up 34 flights of stairs. You should be ashamed of your motherfucking self.
Hey, I tip well. I tip well.
Oh, you better. You better.
I'm only on the second floor these days, you know?
Mm-hmm. Little do we know, the second floor has 5 flights between it.
Well, there's the flight to get up to the door, and then, yes, there's another flight to go up to the second floor.
You don't think I have a tended elevator? Where do you think? Oh, and what was the hood? You know, it's a little different.
It's a little different.
Yeah,
now.
I know.
Gentrification's a bitch.
Right. Right.
But my property values have gone way up, so. Miss Ashley, how are you?
Living the dream. Living the dream.
What's new with you? Anything exciting?
Oh, all the things.
All the things.
That's an offline conversation. But so what I was thinking about, actually, I think both of the things you guys brought up, it's national news, right? And for the longest time when I came to school, you know, Ohio swing state, like that was my vote, and it was for as long as it could be. So I think this is really huge because, you know, I want to protect the right that I have to govern my own body, and it's my hope that all humans, regardless of how they identify, are able to do that, right? And men and women are trying to tell me what I can and can't do with my uterus is unacceptable.
Well, and I think that the running joke and the running gag with that is all right, well then if you're not going to be okay with abortion, then be okay with forced sterilization at a certain age that could be reversed. Like vasectomies can be reversed. Make every young man get a vasectomy instead. Like,
Yeah, I think the politics around like how we police women's bodies is like that is a whole different conversation of how that's appeared in various cultures for since the beginning of time. And well, yes, you can access birth control, you can access all kinds, the side effects of them are real. Oh, you want to take the one that works for you? That's $200 a month cash. Well,
right.
I'm on a plane to Mexico. I'm going to buy that for $30, or Costa Rica, Dominican. $200. Y'all have lost your minds. But that's the plight of the uninsured. That's a different conversation.
Right.
So, no, you guys brought up legalization. New York's gone down that road. New Jersey's gone down that road. And I think there's a lot to be learned. Like, clearly, I'm not a legal expert of any kind. I agree, renewable resource, right? There's, people who have, chronic pain, terminal illness. We can talk about the effects of opioids, fentanyl, etc.
Right.
No doubt.
My family in a personal way, in various aspects, but I think as an educator, right, it's easier for me to put that hat on to be like, well, what could you think about that's not like, it just makes it more basic, right? So like, what are some of the things that like we've had to face? All over New York City, there are smoke shops, literally like every block, 2 blocks, like they've popped up in the nicest neighborhoods, all neighborhoods, including the nicest ones. They are selling unlicensed product. They are not controlled. These are not state regulated shops. They have popped up in ways that like the city can't
manage it all in terms of being able to police it or regulate it.
So there are like all sorts of sales happening to people that they shouldn't be, but what they're selling is, like read the ingredients list, causing a lot of like health crises for people.
Really?
Again, I have seen some of that also, and it's scary to think like, can't y'all just have the thing that's not going to make that happen? What is that? A lot of the products are also put in wrappers that look like treats, candy, things that kids would want, and it's not necessarily clear what they are. How has this come up for me? In the education sector, you have kids who it's like in their house, like Brooklyn's a pretty little place. Weed gummies at school. Imagine kids giving out weed gummies at school.
Right. That's the popular kid.
I mean,
imagine that on the school bus, because it's one bus driver and a whole bus of 60 kids.
Right.
Ain't nobody watching what's happening on the bus. And technically the principal is not in charge of the bus. But when they get to school.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then like I don't see why it can't be regulated like tobacco. Like from that perspective, like you have to have the death warning fucking on everything. You've got to have the like the penalties against it being sold to minors are outrageous. Like I don't understand why you can't just kind of like drag and drop the marketing rules, the advertising rules, those kind of things from tobacco and just drop it on weed. Or take it from both. Take it from tobacco and alcohol. Like,
well, that standpoint affects adults, teenagers, people that can read. But to her credit, when you have a kid who thinks that bag is just a regular bag of Sour Patch Kids, they're not going to pay attention to a death warning or nothing like that. They see the candy.
That comes back to parental responsibility. Like it does. And at the end of the day, like you can't police bad parents in the way that you would need to. And I'm not even saying that parents whose kids come across gummies are necessarily bad parents. That's probably not fair given, the current economic climate. And, you got parents working 2-3 jobs and shit to make ends meet. But, like, I don't know. Maybe they have to be sold in, like, pillbox containers, like child-proof containers. I'm not saying that fixes everything, but, like,
You know, that's a
those seem like solvable things. Like if we've solved it for alcohol and we've solved it for tobacco, like I don't see how you can't solve it for marijuana.
Yeah, I'd be super curious because, like, again, what are all the ins and outs of the legalities? I don't know. It's just like all of these people who have popped up with shops. They don't have licenses to sell that, right? So then they're getting raided, right? Then they're paying the fines. And what they're finding here is like, well, it's cheaper to just pay the fine and keep operating. So the last update I heard a couple of months ago was, okay, the city wants to try to then fine the landlords. So you look at some of these storefronts, like you're trying to operate a restaurant, like the overhead is high, the failure rate is really high. You know, the majority of restaurants that open fold in the first year. That's not true for these shops that are popping up. They're making so much money that they're like, fuck out of here with your fine. Here you go. Come take my money. That's a part of the
I mean, here's the other side of it, though.
Now find the landlords, but the person who is owning that building cannot pay those fines. So they're saying, oh, that's a way to crack down on them leasing to these shops that don't have a right to operate, but they're going to go somewhere.
I mean, honestly, at that point, like you keep upping the fines until you see it be effective. Like that's what it is. And if they can't pay the fine, then you're looking at jail time. Like the licensure thing around it, like I hear you, and honestly, this goes back to prohibition and alcohol sales. Like you've got to have a regulatory body in terms of licensure, those kind of things, and the penalties have to be high enough to deter it.
Yeah,
whether that's jail time or
6 a.m. Like you smell it any and all day long. You smell it. You know you said every couple of steps you smell it. So then, you know, for people who don't partake, for people who have breathing, it's like smoking, but right, like then you're thinking about contact highs. Who has a right to use it and when, right? So then, oh Lord, there was a school. Oh,
go outside, chill out. Y'all motherfuckers walking down the street, chill out.
But then it's like
but you can't have open containers on the street. So what's the difference?
No. I mean,
they don't prescribe alcohol, but I'm sure if somebody had
or maybe on paper you can't, but everyone does it. When it was legalized, you would see little bags all around people. It's like, oh, you dropped your stuff. And what do you do when it's like there were teachers who were partaking in that during the school and I'm like, whoa. I
mean, most of the teachers I know get high, not necessarily during the school day, but
like it's stupid. Man, look, dealing with them little bastards every day. I imagine you would need some sort of.
But then, like, who is responsible for that? You know what I mean? It's just like you're responsible for children. You operate a public bus. You are right. And so it's just, there are a lot of questions. And again, I think my like school administrator hat goes on where it's like at the end of the day, like chop my head off for everything. Right. But it's a reality. Or people who say, oh, but it's medical, but what are you doing? And at the end of the day, like your job is to keep kids safe. And again,
I mean, you could say that about any drug, though, in terms of like.
Well, you can't come to school drunk. Your ass is gonna get sent home.
Right.
That would be very clear. But even with the medical stuff, it became like, whoa, we gotta call the attorney because I don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how much I follow. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that from a standpoint of someone maybe prescribed this and can come to school high, or like what?
Well, if they were actually getting what would be like medical marijuana tincture, right, from a dispensary, I mean, it wouldn't be the same as having like a THC, you know, like I'm assuming that not fully.
So then why wouldn't it be?
But if you did something, example, teacher got mad, left children alone at a public park and decided, no, I didn't leave them. I was just like walking around the park. And I'm like, but you were not physically with the children. Like the things that happen are crazy. Ooh, the groceries here. See you in 20 minutes. Be right back.
Friend of the show, Ashley, always happy to see her hop on from
And you better grab your pocketbook.
the clean streets of Brooklyn.
Because I'm sure he passed out halfway
Up
there.
the stairs.
Wake up and keep on trucking.
Oh, man.
I don't know. I mean, I guess I would want to wait to ask the question. But I mean, kids been getting high for years, you know what I'm saying? Now, not necessarily in school or whatever the case may be. But
I mean, if kids want to do it, they're going to do it.
right.
Especially when you get to a certain age. Like
Right.
middle school, high school, like if kids want to get into something, they're going to.
That's why I guess it's hard for me to wrap my head around. Of course, she's thinking from a defensive standpoint because of her occupation.
Right.
But I don't think that. I feel like that's more of finding a reason to say no than actually looking at the overall.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Were those groceries that fast? Or was it not the groceries?
Y'all act like nobody's struggling that much around here.
You probably order your meals per evening.
Oh, you know, I got my checks, some eggs.
So was that cinnamon checks? Is that what I saw?
Bill I ordered last week. You know, I wouldn't have put that up here. I've been like, what? I don't eat that.
Listen.
Yeah, no, I think it can be complicated only in that, you know, think like what I hate about and what I find challenging about public policy is I'm the person who will be like, here are 7 plans, right? Here are the pros and cons of each. And I think sometimes when plans go awry, it's because we don't have enough perspectives of like where and how some of these things could play
Right.
out, right? Like I'm talking about 4-year-olds, kids from like 4 to 11, right? And they're like, one, what do we do with that? Like, how are we helping people understand how that affects their work? Like it's a lot, man. Makes me want to eat a whole bag of like some chips and salsa. What else I got in here?
So basically, what I guess what I guess I'm gathering from the conversation are these unlicensed pop-up shops, smoke shops that are every other block in your area are selling weed to preschoolers. They're selling gummies and weed to preschoolers is what you're telling me. That's what you're getting at. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
I had a kid ask, so is this kid chocolate or is this adult chocolate?
Well, you know.
Well, you know what?
That's a good question to ask.
Clearly,
Correct.
your parents are helping you understand
Right,
that
that's
there are
good
things that are
parenting.
appropriate for you and not.
And I
These are
mean,
the okay brownies and don't touch those. They're mine.
Right.
I mean, that's the same with alcohol, right? Like, no, this is adult drink, or this is mommy juice.
Right.
This is Jesus juice.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Well, it ain't his blood now. Listen, I know that DoorDash or whatever dude was working. He had to stop at different stores. He was like, "Give me his CVS for this Bath and Body Works. Let me go pick up them cinnamon checks at."
No. Do you guys have Instacart?
Yes, we have Instacart, Ashley.
So we don't have Walmart. That's probably a really hard concept for people to imagine because that sounds like you live in the middle of nowhere.
But do you have a Target, Ashley?
Target is too expensive. So listen, this little stash I got came from a Walmart. You have to pay like a $10 delivery fee, but there was a $40 off coupon.
Okay, I see your math.
My whole some sugar scrub. It says it has some melatonin. I hope that's gonna heal my whole life. You know, scrub. Listen, Tahitian vanilla bean. Have you ever heard of shaving oil? Like what is this stuff? I don't know. Some protein bars. That's gonna help my life. Bananas organic because you know people die in chemicals. But and some eye cream. Y'all use eye cream? No, these are female problems. Like we feel like we have to buy this stuff, and it has caffeine. Because is my beauty corrector on? No, I look tired.
I can't.
This is perfect. This is what we needed tonight.
And when you travel, you have to take it too. They call these pill containers. These would be some big ass pills. Maybe my vitamins, because I have smaller ones for all the other kinds. You know,
Very
maybe
nice.
these are for the gummies that come in the
There
package.
you go, right?
No.
You have to mark them adult only.
That's not stopping any drug addicted 4-year-olds from untwisting that cap to take them to school.
They
So
got no child locks. Worry about that.
you know, where you traveling to next?
Well, actually, so
Right.
I just booked a trip.
Shocker.
Where was I last? And I don't know. I forget these things. So I look real tired. I'm gonna try this. I'm curious. So what happened was
I like that Do Fools Agree has become a makeup tutorial. Go ahead.
if they're supposed to use this so you don't make the bigger. Okay, I don't know.
We're expanding our audience today.
So
Going after that female demographic.
listen, I don't think a lot of women would listen to me. They'd be like, this girl's a hot mess. So I have a conference. There's like a global education conference in Paris at the end of November. And
What kind of fucking
I love Christmas, right? Oh, we should talk about favorite Christmas songs.
What kind of wait, don't just skip over the fact that you have
back in December. Okay.
You have a teaching conference in Paris?
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you be teaching, Madeline? And you worried about kids bringing fucking weed to school in their little yellow jackets? Like, I don't understand what's going on.
I am an independent consultant. That means I do what I want when I want. So I just picked it because I thought Paris really cool. Also, I love classic Christmas, and so to see, I'm gonna take the train to Alsace and see, on the border of Germany, some classic Christmas markets. So,
Ooh.
I invited my mom.
What exactly is classic Christmas? Like
a lot of the origin, I'm saying like a lot, the origin of, Santa, classic Santa Claus is
Santa Claus.
from Germany. So I invited my mom, and that's gonna be,
Aww.
For her, she's like, when will I ever have the opportunity? Me, I'm like, whenever we book the ticket.
Let's fuck it. I'm in.
She's gonna come. I'm like, make sure it's taken care of, and it'll be kind of like a bucket list.
Just make sure the class has subtitles.
A quick week. Yeah, it's people from all over the world. So if they're not speaking English or Spanish,
It's gonna be rough.
It's crazy.
Make sure you bring your remote control. Turn them subtitles on.
I think I saw that on like a 90-Day Fiance clip on Instagram or something. Those things really exist where you hold up the little thing and then it translates for you?
I mean, there's
so.
plenty,
I
of,
mean, I
of
guess
like
your
phone
phone.
apps.
But
Oh, you guys are so smart.
but it doesn't translate in real time. You know that. Well, like
there are VR, there are whatever the latest iteration of like VR glasses is, not goggles in terms of VR. So like AR glasses where you can hook. Well, yeah, so you can have a translation app running, and then it'll display the text as it translates.
Oh wow! I mean,
we're getting Star Trek-y.
And I just knew that they did what they didn't want to say they did, and I didn't know what they were saying because they were 5 and they didn't know any English yet. And so then I would just type into Google Translate, and I would press play. Like, I'm going to have to call your mom, something. So it's like, you better tell me the truth. Meanwhile, they're saying, I have no idea what they're saying. I'm like, we're going to have to call your mom. And they're like,
you're just oh, yeah. You on some Guantanamo Bay shit. You just winging an interrogation. Winging an interrogation and then playing it back on your phone. Like, yep, I did get that response right. Okay.
I do not interrogate children. I saw you hit him in the head.
They got back and everybody was like, why's your shirt all wet?
You were still throwing chairs across the room when I got there.
Right.
Listen. Yeah,
that is funny.
I think Do Fools Agree should take a trip. It's a business expense. Go on the road.
We do have an LLC now, so we could expense that shit.
Going on the road would just be going farther away from our 7 viewers.
Whatever, man. We could do a live show from the island out in Seattle.
We could bring the show here.
I don't hate that idea.
It'd be fun. There's plenty. I have an extra queen size bed now.
Oh, do you?
Plus the queen sleeper sofa. So everybody has their own bed. Unless like the one bed, like I could technically kind of hear. So listen, if you snore, you gots to go. And ain't nothing fresh happening because I don't want to hear all that.
No comments. All right.
Smart man.
So Ashley did ask the question of favorite Christmas songs.
I feel like we need a Christmas lights themes. We need our Christmas headband sweaters on for that conversation, no?
All right. Well, we'll save that one for closer to Christmas.
We didn't even get to Thanksgiving yet.
Right? Why are we jumping the gun?
You know, can we betray an Indian first?
I did
you
hear.
Guys like Thanksgiving? Is this something you enjoy, or do you have traditions around it?
You know, it's funny. I actually have had this conversation a couple of times recently, and like Thanksgiving used to be my favorite holiday. Between like when I was real young and going and seeing my grandparents in Buffalo and in Corning, New York, and then even when I was married, like doing all the cooking for family, for my mom, my brother, her mom, etc. Like I enjoyed doing that. And now it's just kind of fucking depressing. So I got nothing.
Oh man.
What about you?
Me, I mean, yeah, like Mike said, it used to be my favorite, but I mean, my mom used to run the Thanksgivings and all that. So this is going to be the first one without her, of course. I don't know if I'll have the same vibe. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think it's still good to see everybody.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what we've done too from a tradition standpoint. Like we've looped in with like Kevin's family, and we do my stepdad's family, and we do Thanksgiving with them, and yeah, it's good to see everyone. But it's I don't know, man. It's one of those holidays that I feel like highlights our mortality because as you get older, it's more about who's not there anymore.
Right.
Whoa. So sorry, moving around. I got an old lady back. On my pillows. I used to hate Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I hated it my entire life. Because it's interesting to hear you say, like, oh, it brings out mortality. For me, I was like, this is just so gluttonous. You woke up and you were hungry, but like everybody's cooking and it's like you have to wait all day to eat. And I don't like turkey. I don't really like, I was there for the baked mac and cheese and like maybe the green bean casserole, but somebody always manages to fuck that up. They put too much of something and it becomes like green bean soup casserole. So I only want the crunchy onions. And then I'm like, why did I starve all day to be hungry? I don't like pumpkin pie. My family didn't make anything like sweet potato pie, which I like and I can make. So I didn't like it. I never liked it. And it's something that I've like reclaimed in a different way.
Because you do like the Friendsgiving thing, right?
Yeah, because, I've been here almost 20 years. I don't have any family close, right? It's me.
Right.
And so I look and I'm like, friends are the family that you choose, for all the years up until what will be this year. It's been like, yeah, come, like, bring your husband, bring your partner. And then it started to be bring your baby, bring your babies. And I'm like, listen, this is Brooklyn. I don't have room for this. So yeah, here, Tia, Ashley, to all the kids, it's kind of like friends are the family that you choose. I do place settings. I make like special nameplates for everyone.
Aww.
We go around the table. We share what we're grateful for, but it's really like, I don't know. It's just really deep. It's not like, oh, I'm so grateful I have a job, right? It's like, I'm so grateful to be surrounded by people who help me understand what it is to raise a Black son in this day and age and make decisions. Like we laugh, we cry, we drink a lot of good stuff, eat a lot of good food, and it's just...
And have some gummies that we then give to the kids.
And whatever you do, don't distribute these at school tomorrow. Nah, I mean, that's what's up, though. That's what's up.
All right, so if it's not Thanksgiving, favorite holidays?
Christmas, snow falling down.
Christmas used to be up there for me too, and now I'm just kind of like, because I don't have A-Reg on Christmas. I have him Christmas Eve.
Yeah, that's usually how it is with Carmen too.
I've just been alone for like 20
for so
years.
long, so
I'm like, oh y'all, I love it, and it's just, and I don't care.
She wakes up and acts surprised the present she bought herself.
is under
the tree. Like, oh my gosh, Santa loves me.
Yeah, you know. And I put them under the tree too.
I was definitely on the nice list this year. Nah, yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I don't know. Do kids suck the life out of you? Do kids suck the life out of you? That's what I'm gathering from this conversation. That kids suck the fucking life out of you. And even if you don't have them, they suck the life out of you. You're planning against their next cartel hit at the speed. And you're like, God damn, I gotta go to Paris to learn how to stop these little traffickers from getting shit into. You didn't believe what I found in Jeffrey's cubby hole last week.
I think parents are super people, and it's interesting because here, at least in my friend group, all of their kids are like 2. They're turning 2, so it's definitely
not
later.
To be causing a problem yet.
Ohio gang, or like 2 to 3, and then the newborns. And everybody's just so tired, and like I don't know how people don't sleep. And then I deal with them at all the stages from 4 to like, 8th grade. You're a real asshole. Y'all were both big assholes in 8th grade. Like, what are you, 14? Yeah, we were all big assholes at that time. But
I'm glad she went from you two to all of us. Thank you for the correction.
I mean, those are the asshole stages of life.
Right. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, I coach high school and I deal with them like throughout the asshole phase, and they're always assholes, and they always will be because that's all I coach is high school. So
They're just a little more rational, right? Like sometimes these 3-year-old tantrums, I'm like, even 2-year-old, I'm like, you're a little terrorist. How do your parents? Or some of them are like that at school, but not at home. But the ones who are terrorists at home and their parents
are
are
usually
like,
good at school. Yeah.
but really? And we're like, yeah, boundaries, like clear choice. It's fascinating. So, I mean, y'all, I give you a lot of kudos for,
It's funny. We just did Andrew's parent-teacher conference, and this is the first year where we didn't get called in before parent-teacher conferences to address A-Reg pushing boundaries with his teacher.
You get that?
My son is a habitual line stepper.
As he should be.
He walks right up to it, steps on it, and then once
know?
somebody says something, he'll back off, but not until you say something.
Right. As he should. This is the years for you to do that.
Right. Push
You
those
gotta
boundaries.
learn how to manage the world with your mistakes in your early years.
But literally, this was so he's in 3rd grade. This is the first time since I think it was the 2-year-old preschool room where we didn't get called in for him not listening. Oh man. And he's never in like serious trouble, but it's always like, no, he goofs off until like he pushes boundaries. You have to set that line with him.
I mean, kids.
Right.
There are the kids where literally, I think it's probably come out of my mouth before. No, not I think. I know it's come out of my mouth before, and it was not the best version of myself to be like, you are so lucky I am not your mother. Right? Someone take this child up out of here from me. I don't look good in orange or stripes, and I do not want to be on the 5 o'clock news.
And I just think to myself when I see him, like, you need your ass whooped.
Right. Your mom should have hit you more.
You need your ass whooped.
Gentle parenting is a movement.
It is. Well,
What
so is the
parenting?
whole gentle. I mean, so is the whole like everything's a choice. Everything's allowed to be like their choice. Like, no. That was that was probably the only area where my ex and I disagreed in terms of like parenting styles. I'm like, no, some things are not a fucking option. You're going to fucking do it because I told you to.
Right.
Like,
Right? Or you have to sit down. But also, like, do you want grapes or an apple with your lunch? Grapes or an apple? Not, do you want grapes? No. Do you want an apple? No. Do you want that? No. No. Come on now. I can't eat all that. Ain't nothing in these bags for you. That's caffeinated eye cream and see what happens. Do you think it would like give you energy? Could happen.
I don't know. I don't know if caffeine can be absorbed through the skin. I mean, I know night patches are out there.
She's looking for the hard-hitting roofie eye cream with the melatonin in it and shit, and then you think the caffeine is going to be...
Right, she's balancing out her skincare regimen. We're going to do the melatonin first.
And then... myself with melatonin. Let me spray everywhere with my sleep spray. Okay, wait, gotta wake up. Gotta put on my caffeinated eye cream.
Then she got an ammonia she's throwing under her eyes.
Smelling salts.
You know?
Woo! We're ready to go.
Waking up. What kind of shit?
Y'all have been cracking me up since like 19.
Oh shit.
90 something.
It's like a fucking Dr. Dre song.
Right.
I mean, literally every time he comes on my throwback station, I think of y'all. You're
Oh, I do have to call that out. So I think that was it? I think it was either homecoming or senior night, and they had a playlist going before the game that was like all the club hits from when I was in college, and I'm like, I don't know who created this pregame mix, but I'm a fan. Like there was Soulja Boy, there was Let Me Buy You a Drink, there was I'm like, damn, all right, let's get it. Lil Flip and Game Over.
I mean, do you hear that at the grocery store there? No.
No, not really.
At
mean,
the
every-
grocery store?
I mean, every once in a while, I guess some R&B hit will come on, like late '90s R&B hit.
Yeah, they can't play no music like that at the grocery store. Yeah, that motherfucker turned into something. People be shooting in the parking lot.
Especially not that Kroger's on Main Street.
Shit, that Walmart on Main Street.
down at Whitehall.
There's a Walmart on Main Street?
Mm-hmm.
We don't even have Walmart.
Yeah. I think that's one of the very few in the city that closes, if that tells you something.
All of our stuff that used to be 24 hours, like, you know, the Rite Aid pharmacy and all that stuff, they've all closed because of the amount of theft and stuff. So they're not 24 hours anymore. Like, listen, if it's dark, I'm trying to be home. There's all sorts of these streets.
Well, and they're
People
also
that-
not paying people enough to care. Like,
Are like it's going back to what it was in like the 80s and 90s. Like it's a little rough around the edges, but she'll bounce back.
That's what y'all get for trying to
How
gentrify
about-
some area that you. And then now y'all got to talk about it getting rough out here. What you mean? Your gentrification didn't work? Is that what you're trying to say?
The fancy neighborhood. Even when you start seeing certain things, even in the fancy neighborhoods, you're like, ooh, okay. I don't know what drugs people are doing, but they hit real different.
that fentanyl, man,
Like,
it'll get you.
It's the slump where they go down and then they zing up and they yell things. But what's hard is like, it's funny.
Yeah.
You're trying to walk down the street and it's like tons of people with their
can't.
baby carriages and like I'm just trying to walk, like I'm not trying to look at anybody, I'm not trying to talk to anybody, I'm just trying to but the EMS workers pull up. This is outside of Starbucks, right? Where like a latte is $9.
Where they couldn't get the right balance of the melatonin skin cream with the caffeinated IREB.
Some of that in their mix, and the EMS workers come up because this person is like in their zinging slump and like coming up to people but really close, and you're like why are you so close? Listen, I don't know what you're gonna do. People are getting pushed, slashed, all sorts of crazy stuff here is literally on the news every day, so you're just trying to like, ooh, okay. So the EMS workers are like, hey, good afternoon or good morning or something. And the person's like, morning? What do you think it is the night or whatever? It was like so I started to like laugh because they may have been out of their mind, but they were right. You know? And then it became a comedy show.
That sounds about right.
Stick around for, but it did give me a good little giggle. I also saw somebody right outside of Target, actually, on Atlantic Center. So Barclays Center, you know, Jay-Z, they have, it's like, you know, the Brooklyn Nets play there, the Islander, all sorts of big shows, right? You know, somebody had their pants down, taking a full-on dump in the middle of the street.
Looking like a fool with your pants on the ground.
Like you got your whole ass out. You know, now they make you get these like reusable shopping bags. So,
Right.
you know, And
Also, they did have something to wipe their ass with.
ish.
That was my question. Like, did they have a roll of toilet paper in their hand?
I wasn't trying to be too all up in there, but I definitely noticed the reusable shopping bag. They clearly had mental health issues, maybe some addiction issues, and people were standing with their phones like, "Oh," and I'm like, "This is gonna be all over."
What
Look
the
at
fuck
this
is the world
fuckery
coming
that
to?
happens in New York City, and yes, it happens on the regular. You have to explain it to your kids, whatever. But also, that's somebody's like friend, daughter, maybe sister, maybe mother. Like, I don't know. And I was like, you don't have any dignity for yourself right now. Can people just like put their phones away and like keep it moving? Also, who wants to watch that shit?
Right.
Literally.
Right. I don't know. I'm sure I'm sure there's porn out there.
Every day. When's the last time y'all had to look at that on a daily basis?
I can't say that I've ever seen anybody shit in the street.
You gotta bring your show on the street.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen a street shitter.
I'll give you a real tour. I mean, hell, I've probably almost been a street shitter. New York doesn't have any public bathrooms. Y'all know you've been in that minute where you're like, if I don't get somewhere.
And you gotta walk everywhere too.
And run inside.
Ride the subway and shit. That's why motherfuckers be shitting on the subway. I would too. I would just scoot down in my little seat and be like, yeah, this was the plan all along, bro. I apologize. You're gonna have to scoot over a couple.
You might want to get in the next car at the next stop.
Like, hey, you using that reusable grocery bag?
Or if you're real good, you can wait till the station because the hot spot is those subway elevators. Woo! Accessible elevators, because you have the time from, down at the train to like handle your business till you get up there. You gotta go in like.
Oh no, that's why them motherfuckers don't be crazy. Like when you see the videos on World Star, somebody shitting on the elevator. They're not crazy at all. That's just the only time you get privacy in that fucking shithole city. You don't even have privacy in your apartment.
Accurate.
Motherfuckers be like, "Can you flush? Through the wall? Can you flush? I smell that. Courtesy flush, please."
You gotta have that poopery in stock,
Listen, that is
Take
crazy.
that little travel spray. Sounds like a New Fools Agree field trip.
Might be.
We can work that out.
Might be.
That'd be. Oh, Friendsgiving is on Saturday.
Oh, is it?
You could leave Friday night and you could be here by Saturday. Oh wait, but next weekend. I had that. Oh shit, today's Friday. I kind of forget my days sometimes.
Next weekend.
Next Saturday.
Like the 10th, the 11th.
Yeah, it could be. Fools Agree on the road Friday night. Real road trip. The Pennsylvania Turnpike. That's where you guys.
That's where we'll do the show live from the Turnpike. Andrew, hold the wheel.
You just pull right up here and park. Don't leave anything too valuable in your car, and then you're good.
Yeah, you act like parking is a simple thing around there.
Around here, totally easy. My car's right out front.
Is it right now? That's nice.
Yeah. Trying to struggle too much, I gotta see a lot of things in these streets. I
know that's right. And it sounds like it's a lot of things to be seen.
Or not be seen. Oh goodness. Well,
I'll tell you that much. What else did you have on the title? You said
so we had all the serious shit on the title.
Right.
Ohio elections and and the possibility of women being drafted in World War III, which, you know, we've been hearing is impending for a year now, and, you know, with additional things going down in the Middle East and troop movements and
drafted.
all sorts of stuff.
I need peppermint oil for this.
So what are the thoughts on, you know, women 18 and up also being considered for the draft?
Technically, if a draft were reinstated, I would be too old for it, right?
I feel like we are past our draftability prime. That's not to say they couldn't, but we wouldn't be the target audience.
And be like, because it doesn't affect me. Go ahead, take them on.
But I mean,
who the fuck is fighting for this shit? I'll fight you. You gonna come take me to jail if I say I'm not coming? I'll fight you.
I mean, that was generally, I think, what Cliff and I talked about last week or the week before was, you know, I don't know if you're looking at it from a draft perspective, like, there is no support for us being involved in any world conflicts right now because we don't feel like we're being taken care of at home. So what does it benefit us to go fight in some war that isn't directly impacting us?
I die fight for myself, or I ever call myself going off to fight for a motherfucking devil that didn't give a fuck about me in the first place.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because I'm not gonna go all like hundreds of years of history and politics, geopolitics, whatever. Like, right. But what's happening in the Middle East? Like, there have been some American bases that have been attacked in the last couple of weeks.
And there have been American hostages. I get that.
Lebanon, Egypt, not even just American hostages, right? But like, what Middle Eastern powers do we have, and what, in terms of geopolitics, the countries where we do have military bases? And so,
but all right, you're gonna call out
an immense amount of privilege as Americans, and we have it because we bomb the shit out of people and like have established holds in certain places or relationships. So do I see a lot of things like, yes, Russia, China, World War III? I'm kind of like, oh God, I don't want to see it in my lifetime. But
I mean, at this point, I don't know. Like,
I would get kicked out of the military. I would just sit down and cry, and they'd be like, she's a worthless piece of shit. We tried to break her, but she just had a complete breakdown, and she's not.
We did. We succeeded, and we went too far. No, I don't. Here's my take on it is, and I'm going to do this, and it's somewhat in jest, but somewhat serious. Typically, wars like that are fought over natural resources. Like, at the end of the day, it's about protecting energy. It's about protecting natural resources. It's about protecting a pipeline. Honestly, the best thing for everybody would be at this point to, like, and I'm going to tie it into the UFO conversation. If we're talking about propulsion and we're talking about new sources of energy, like, that puts a stop to it. Because these wars are fought over energy and energy resources.
That puts a stop to it from a layered perspective.
I hear you, and
but I do believe
know where you're going with it. So
you have people that actively profit off of war that are making so much money currently. I couldn't imagine they would want that money flow to stop, right, regardless of a renewable energy source or whatever the case may be.
Yep. Well, and which is why I actually believe that I think there have been leaps and bounds in the energy crisis that haven't been shared publicly yet. Whether that's UFOs or whether that's we've discovered things that have been kept under wraps. It's funny, like, switching gears on this a little bit, you know, the Manhattan Project was a big deal for, like, years, decades before anybody knew anything about it. Like, for the longest time, it was 12 people that had any knowledge of it.
I mean, isn't that most shit?
Right. So, like, what is that next big thing that needs to come out from a perspective like that? And at this point, like, yes, we know we can destroy one another. Like, it doesn't benefit us to have something that's more powerful than a nuclear bomb at this point. Because all it does is destroy the entire planet, and it's mutually assured destruction.
Right.
The only thing that supersedes that is technological advances from a weaponry standpoint, which leans itself towards a new energy solution. And there's lots of things in like the UFO community right now about the fact that from an energy standpoint, like in order to make UFOs do the things they do, and this is saying that they aren't even extraterrestrial in nature.
But from here, it's like
but from here, and we've cracked a code on energy that has not been made public yet. So that's kind of my take on it. I think beyond that, you know, thinking about the topic, and you know, it was on there kind of in jest but kind of serious. Like, well, I mean, if you want to fight for equality and you want to fight for equal rights, there's really no pulling back from that and saying that they have less of a stake in terms of being drafted than a young man does.
Well, here's the thing, and that's crazy, is that it kind of comes back to a woman and a man from a biblical standpoint.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you get to talking about possibly needing to draft women and draft primes and all that, you would be taking all of the fertile mothers away as well. So depending on how this war is fought, that could be the eradication of a nation in its entirety.
Yeah.
Because the only ones that can stay back that wouldn't be fighting at war probably aren't in their, you know, prime fertile years to be able to conceive once the war is over.
I think what's interesting is that, you know,
or during.
And I will probably get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the Israeli military where it doesn't matter your gender and you're required to do X years of service.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if that's a war we want to go fight in, there's no reason, like...
But there's also differences between us and the Israelis from a moral standpoint as well. You know what I'm saying? Their country as a whole isn't built to the same standard as ours is. You can trust and believe that that limit that you're required to serve for has a limit.
Yeah.
We know the contract here in the States. There is no end date. You make the rules. You tell me. I mean, I'm just not, like, it's not the way you treat your citizens. It doesn't make sense for them to want to fight for you in any way.
I completely agree with that statement and that sentiment, especially right now in this country. You know who they should draft? All the CEOs. Any CEO. All the billionaires making more than $500 million.
Well, that's a guaranteed L.
Is it though? Because, you know, if things are to be believed and those people really, you know, just figured things out on their own, they can figure that out. Why not?
No, you can't. No, you can't. This isn't crunching numbers and mathematics on a paper and firing your dead weight. This is war. This is fighting.
Here's the other side of that equation. How much of, and trust me, I understand what is going on kind of throughout the globe. But the U.S. from a military standpoint, like, our strength isn't in boots on the ground. Our strength is being able to blow things out of the sky or blow things on the ground up from the sky.
Right.
So, you know, getting drafted at this point, is that basically like you become a pilot of a drone? Like, I get that, you know, that's a finite resource in and of itself, but I don't know, man. Like, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, you know, world's run by devils.
No doubt.
That's to sum it up in a nutshell. At the end of the day, and it ain't about choosing what devil you gonna fight for. It's about choosing what you know you stand on. If you believe that the fight is for you, then by all means, handle your business.
Yeah.
I wish you well.
All right. Shifting gears to one more, and this may be tied to your inadvertent, it may not be, but you sent me a link this week around the sovereign citizen. And I don't know if I don't know how to like classify it. Like, is it a conspiracy theory? It's not a conspiracy theory.
No, it's definitely not a conspiracy theory, but I mean there are theories behind your sovereign citizenship.
Right. And a lot of it ties to the fact that by accepting, a social security card, accepting government identification, that you are entering into a contract with the United States government, the corporation, United States of America, Inc., that basically turns you from a citizen into an asset.
Right.
And that's where a lot of this stuff kind of originates. It also, in a related, video, talked about how the fact that the IRS is actually not a legal entity. Like, there is no law which establishes the IRS and its power to collect taxes from residents or citizens of the United States.
You see that they brought something out that they so-called found that said that you do now.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, so-called.
Okay.
Now, we all know it was probably added just a few days ago.
Right.
And they showed us as soon as the ink got dry. But they've now produced something that they say, oh, shit, my camera bugging.
No, I've come across a lot of those types of videos lately, and it's an interesting thing, but at the same time you hear people going to jail for tax evasion. You hear
right,
tax fraud being
frozen?
A big thing. You're on no video right now.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, I might just have to switch cameras. Damn. That's the fuck shittery.
Not the fuck shittery.
Damn, that's the. Let me see something. Oh, my whole shit is on. I don't know what Zoom's doing. I can't.
Can't do it? What did you try stopping video and just bringing it back?
Yeah, no, I think the screen is not responding.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, if that's the case, and we know that Ashley had to drop, we could look at calling it. We are, at an hour and a half. Not a bad show. And we can come back to this topic at a later date.
What was the topic before?
Just the sovereign citizen.
Yeah, I think we should.
All right. Well, we'll do some more research and come back to it. On another topic, one that I'd like to come back to because I think I'm going to read it while I'm on the plane. I'm reading the Kabbalion.
Oh, for real?
So I want to bring that back next episode.
Where are you going on a plane to?
I am taking a work trip here in the next week, but I'll be back for next week's show.
Okay.
And I'll fill you in on more detail off the air.
Yeah, just let me know something.
Yeah. All right, man. You got anything to take us out?
Love everybody. Pat down your preschoolers.
Don't give drugs to kids.
Yep. And I don't know. Shit.
There you go.
Mine went blank.
And do us a favor. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Tell an enemy. Tell them to troll. And with all that, peace out, fools.
All right.